You are listening to the Mary Jane Society podcast, where you will meet entrepreneurs, cultivators, scientists, doctors, and inventors in the cannabis industry.
I'm your host, Pam Schmiel, marketer and publicist in the cannabis industry. Today our guest is Kyle Page. He grew up in the New York City and New Jersey area before being sent to a Kansas prison on marijuana charges, where he served 8 years until the Last Prisoner Project intervened and got him released. They also helped him land a job with Ascend Wellness in their New Jersey cultivation operations. Kyle rapidly moved through the ranks into a top cultivation position, and this year Ascend Wellness is setting him up with his own dispensary called East Coastin Dank. This is a happy ending for someone who served time in federal prison for selling marijuana and turned things around to open a dispensary with a top MSO. Let's meet Kyle Page.
Let's just start with your background. And I know when we met that you told me that you had served time for cannabis and that the Last Prisoner Project was responsible for helping you get out. And I haven't heard any stories like how did they do that and things like that. So I would love to hear, first of all, I know you served a lot of time also, what your story is there. So we'll just start with that and then we'll dive into all the other great stuff that you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, my name is Kyle Page. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and then in my teenage years I moved to New Jersey, moved to a suburban town. It was nice, you know. It was good to see different sides of the fence, pretty much. You know, I grew up in an urban environment, then I moved to a suburban environment, New Jersey. So I got to see two different sides of life. It was nice. Just like a lot of different teenagers, a lot of other teenagers, I dabbled in smoking weed, and you know, it was the '90s, and you know, I skateboarded, I did all those type of things. But obviously, the police at that time were doing their job, and you know, they locked me up for weed a few different times. As a teenager, at the age of 18, I got caught with 13 dime bags of weed, and they sentenced me to 2.5 years in prison. It was a 3-year sentence with 2 18-month stipulations, which meaning that I had to do 18 months in prison before I was able to see parole. At the time, I was signed up to go to the Marines, but they didn't see it fit for me to go to the military. They'd rather me go to prison, which started a spiral for me. You know, as a young kid, I was 18 years old. I'm going into prison. You know, you have to find a way to survive. And so it started a spiral for me. It sent me down into more stuff in the streets. But luckily, I come from a good family who they always supported me. They always supported me through everything that I was going through. And so, you know, I got a good job when I got out and everything, went to school, and you know, I was doing well. Eventually, I decided I wanted to move to Kansas City, and when I moved to Kansas City, I ended up meeting somebody from California who worked on a farm. They asked me, did I want to come trim? It was a beautiful thing. I went out there and I learned the ins and outs of cultivation. And so I did that for a while. It was a beautiful thing. I worked on a medical farm. And I mean, everything was legal there. What was illegal was bringing it out of the state of California, which was what I did. And I was arrested in Kansas with 72 pounds. I think I had about $70,000 cash on me and another like $190,000 in the house. They offered me 20 years in prison. Luckily, I didn't get that. I paid a good amount of money for an attorney, which was able to get me 82 months in prison, which breaks down to about 6.5 to 7 years in prison. I served 6 years on that sentence. So altogether, we're saying just on those two incidents alone, I served almost 10 years in prison for cannabis.
Wow.
But it wasn't. Sometimes you could take a negative or a positive. I decided to take a positive. So while incarcerated for the 6 years, I got involved with all different programs. I got about 7 different certifications in just behavioral modifications, all types of different rehabilitation programs. I got involved with reading programs, history programs, anything I could get involved with in there, I did. While in there, I met a gentleman named Dante West. Dante Westmoreland, he was a gentleman who was also incarcerated for cannabis. He was very young. We became very good friends, and he found out about the Last Prisoner Project. They helped him to get out of prison. He promised me, which, people say a lot of things in prison, but he promised me, he's like, listen, you're my bunkie, you're my boy, you're my brother. When I get out, I'm gonna see what I can do to help you. So he helped me to put in my information, my paperwork for a clemency. The state of Kansas didn't see it fit for me to have a clemency because I had did time for cannabis in the past. They saw me as a career criminal. But we didn't stop there. Last Prisoner Project didn't give up on me. Dante didn't give up on me. So the best thing that they could do was fight to get the good time back that I had lost. Because a lot of people don't know is when you're in prison, especially in these private prisons, they have to keep a certain amount of inmates in the facility. So you will get all types of different institutional infractions for anything if you move down or anything. So I lost a few different periods of good time for simple things. Um, they were able to and they told me I would never be able to get that good time back. The Last Prisoner Project at Dante West helped me to get the good time back. It was poetic justice because how it worked out was I was gonna come home from prison and be home in about January. I was like the beginning of January. Um, they made it so I came home December 16th. So I got to come home 9 days before Christmas. I hadn't, obviously I was in Kansas. My family's here in New Jersey and New York. I hadn't hugged my daughter in 6 years. My daughter was 12 years old when I was incarcerated. She was now 18 going on 19 when I was set to be released. So it had been all that time since I've hugged my daughter. I got to see my parents once, because it's a long drive for them to come out or fly out. So I got to come home for Christmas. It was beautiful to be home with my family for Christmas. Um, and from there, Last Prisoner Project, then they started the process. They're like, hey, would you mind telling your story to other people? We think that your story is inspirational to people. We think that the fact that you've stayed positive through all of that is really it's something to be commended. So I started to tell my story. From there, just being within around the industry and just the experience that I have, I was able to hook in with Ascend Wellness Holdings. They didn't hold my past against me. They let me come on, and I started from the bottom and worked my way up. I then became a lead supervisor, like one of the lead cultivators for the facility. Made some very very good relationships with people like Danielle Drummond, who's the vice president of social equity for Ascend. Shirali Patel became my attorney. She is the head attorney, the founder of Blaze Responsibly, which is a law firm. She became my attorney. She was like, Kyle, I think that you can do some things within this industry. Since then, she's helped to push me to the point where now I am a dispensary owner. I'll be opening up in about February. My dispensary is going to be in Eatontown, New Jersey. They also helped me to get a brand. I have my own brand in EC Dank, which stands for East Coastin Dank. And yeah, I mean, it's been a beautiful thing. I've got to accept awards. I've never gotten an award in my life except for like a high school diploma, but I got to accept several awards for social justice and social equity work that I'm doing within the state. Not only just in here, I've done stuff in Maryland and New Jersey, New York, Illinois. I've been,
What what are you doing? Like what kind of you mean within the Last Prisoner Project? I
I've,
just have to tell you, you really your story, I mean, it really, I mean, I feel like I want to cry. I really I just tears in my eyes. It's so incredible. Anyway, I don't even want to stop it. I really just have to tell you, it's just so incredible. Your endurance and everything that you've gone through. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so what other social equity things have you been working on in other states?
right. So what I've done is I've got to be involved with Last Prisoner Project with lobbying, which was extremely huge for me. I've never seen the process of what it takes to change the legislation or to even see the camaraderie within the cannabis industry from state to state. I was actually the lead person for the 420 convention last year. This year it was in 420 in April. I had just been released off of parole like a few weeks before, and I was there. I got to speak at Congress. I was on Fox 5 News, just telling my story. and also just representing the community, the cannabis community, and giving hope and inspiration to other people who may have family members who were incarcerated or people who are coming home from that. Um,
People have to know. People have to know. It's so important for you to tell your story. I'm
yes,
sorry.
I feel like so many people think that now because it's legal that, oh yeah, everything's fine. No, there's still people who are incarcerated. There's people who have served 25, 26 years. I consider myself lucky because I didn't serve that much time. I mean, I still serve the time that I served, but I mean, there's so many people. There's people that I've met who there's a guy that I met, he had a life sentence for cannabis. And it's ridiculous, but he did. And Last Prisoner Project helped to get him out. But through Ascend Wellness, through Last Prisoner Project, through Blaze Responsibly, which is Shirali Patel's law firm, I've gotten a chance to touch so many different lives, which is to me, for all these people who have helped me, it's the best thing I can do is to give back what was given to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm never gonna stop doing what I'm doing until every person comes home. Every man comes home. I don't see this as a black issue or a white issue. I see this as an American issue because there's people of all different races, colors, genders who are locked up for cannabis or lives who's been ruined by cannabis. And it's not just the people who are incarcerated. Also, it's the families of those people also who have been, when we do time, our families do time with us. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's really a it's really a soul fulfilling mission. Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't pay a lot of money, but it pays in your heart and your soul. And I feel like this is one of the most important things in the cannabis industry. Of course, I'm a cultivator by trade. Um, of course, yeah, I did traffic weed. I've done a lot of different things like that. And so the business part of it is important to me, but to me, the most important part is the social justice part because how can we forget everybody else who's locked up while we're, at these conventions and, at consumption lounges and we're enjoying the fruits of this, but there's somebody else who's sitting in a very dangerous place missing their family right now. You
Oh,
know,
makes me sick.
yeah, and then I was one of those people, and I was one of those people just 2 years ago. I just got off parole this year. And
Wow.
um, yeah, there's just a lot more work to do, and I really feel like by me telling my story, I feel like I'm fueling other people to join this fight. Maybe even people who's never even been incarcerated. It doesn't matter if you've been incarcerated or not. If you're in this industry and you care about other human beings, well, then we need to join together and fight for this.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, Kyle. Wow, that's crazy. I can't even believe it. It's just, you're so right. Like we're all running around going on with this industry. And of course, a lot of stories like yours are being highlighted because of, the industry. But it's every story is so moving. There's so many people that were so affected in such a deep way, and you're right, and we all have to remember that. And I'm glad that you're here telling the story that we can put it out a little bit more. And then what I really want to, also highlight, it's amazing, how you've turned it around, or some people in the industry, and now things are really on the upswing for you. So, and I would love to talk about your journey now being a dispensary owner, because I feel like it gives hope to people that would think, oh, I get out of prison, I don't even have a life anymore. How
Yeah.
do I rebuild this? You're the exact example of how they can rebuild it and give them hope. So I would like to get into that story. So if you've only been out of prison for 2 years, you quickly came up the ranks in Ascend.
Mhm.
So that's amazing. So okay, so I'm sorry, what you said before was the Last Prisoner Project got you, or Sherrill got you into working at Ascend,
Yeah.
and you started working in cultivation because you had that experience. And you came up the ranks so quickly. Then how did it turn out that are you franchising from them, or you're not opening an Ascend store? How did it turn out that you had this conversation that they are going to back you opening a dispensary? Obviously, they think you have a lot of talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mentioned before Danielle Drummond. She's the vice president of social equity for Ascend. And me and her ended up crossing paths, and she heard my story because while working at Ascend, the HR and other people knew they know my story, and they're like, "Hey, Kyle, we would love to take a picture of you while you're working on the plants and maybe highlight you and this Instagram post, whatever the case, just little things like that." And just from me doing those different types of things, I had conversations with higher ups, and they got to see who I was as a person. They got to really hear my story like the way I'm sharing with you and everyone else out there right now. And they felt the story and they said, well, what else can you do? What actually the question was, Kyle, what do you want to do in this industry? And at the time I wasn't really thinking, like, hey, I want
Yeah.
a dispensary owner. I was just like, hey, I would love to be, a head cultivator. I
Yeah.
learn as much because there's always more to learn, and I would like to learn more. And so, just working on that and talking to Shirali and Danielle, and they were just like, I think that you can be a dispensary owner. I think that you can, eventually be a cultivator owner, and we think that you can go to the top. And so, with the help, you can. For me, I feel like your team around you and the people that support you are most important. So it was them, it was my family, it was all the people, my support network who um kind of gave me the confidence to say, you can do this. We can get you a social equity license. We can help you to move forward within this industry, but you have to have the fortitude, the patience, to do so. And that's what I did. I honestly, I listen a lot. That's how I've got to where I'm at. I listen a lot and I stay positive. And I never tell myself that I can't do something. If I say if I don't know it, I can learn it, and that's just how that's how I've gotten where I'm at. And the journey's not over because obviously I'm learning a lot of different things. There's municipalities you have to go through, and you have to jump through all types of hoops and hurdles with the cannabis review commissions here in New Jersey, and but I'm learning so much about business. I feel like I'm getting a crash course on business, and also too, let me just note that the Last Prisoner Project also helped to get me online classes with Oaksterdam University. So I'm taking cannabis business classes. So and also makes my mom very proud that her son's now going to be a college graduate. So but these are the things that I'm doing. It's not just, hey, this person hooked me up. It's taking the steps to learn on my own outside of that, as well as the opportunities that people are giving me, and just really capitalizing on it.
So you said that they helped you develop your own brand. So you're not opening an Ascend dispensary, you're opening your own branded dispensary.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And my brand is going to be called EC Dank, which stands for East Coastin Dank. And the reason that I did that is because well, of course I learned on the West Coast, and the West Coast people, they of course they're like almost a holy grail of cannabis, especially at that time when I was there. They were like, everybody went to California for everything.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to there's certain things that we like here on the East Coast. There's certain flavors or strains that we love. There's certain effects that we love. And this is before everybody knew about terpenes and flavonoids and the endocannabinoid system and everything like that. So I pretty much was going off of what I liked, what effects I was looking for, and out there they would be like, oh, you like the East Coast style stuff, East Coast style, and so that's where the name comes from. It comes from the East Coastin Dank that we loved, and now as a cultivator, I'm getting to develop different strains myself and work on things myself, and so that's what EC Dank stands for. But EC Dank also stands for the East Coast lifestyle. It People think about the East Coast and only think about New York City, but they don't think about everything else the East Coast gives, the East Coast brings. And so that's what I'm trying to represent. And of course, one of the core values of EC Dank is social justice.
Mm.
That's one of the cores of it is never giving up, never forgetting that other person who's locked up, never forget that other woman who's locked up, and fight no matter what. Be a Wolverine for this social justice.
Oh my God. I hope you uh, market that in your dispensary, because I feel like people will really support that, that your mission. Absolutely. It's amazing. So I do want to get into like the genetics and all that kind of stuff with you because that's your expertise. And I just want to touch a little bit more on your operations. So are you vertically integrated or are you just, is it just a dispensary or are you having cultivation as well?
So I am shooting for the vertical license
Okay.
uh, because in the future I'd like to be able to open up a cultivation. Um, as of right now, it's just going to be the retail and the brand. But in the future, I am looking to have my own cultivation. But we all know how expensive that is. So at the moment, I need to focus on my retail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, so I'm sorry. So are you saying your brand, you mean you're going to launch your own like CPG brand or the dispensary is called EC Dank?
So the dispensary is going to be called East Coastin, but my
Oh,
brand is E Dank, and so
okay.
you will get EC Dank product that will be out there. Um, Hopefully I can get into the New York market. Hopefully I can get into other states. Of course, I'm a Brooklyn boy by heart, so it would be to me it would be beautiful to have the CEC Dank on shelves in New York.
Yeah, yeah. So, then, okay, so how much is the Ascend team helping you? Like, do they give you the blueprint? Are they coming in and are they just guiding you the whole way? I imagine they are. Are they investing in you? Is it part of like a franchise kind of model? How is that working? Because yeah, and the reason I'm really asking too is because I believe that this kind of model, and these MSOs should be doing things like this to really handhold and help people get along because, in New York, it's already in the newspapers how many social equity dispensaries are about to go under
Mhm.
because they've basically been given the money, the store, here you go ahead. That doesn't work for anyone.
Right.
So that's why I was curious. I hope this type of model is becoming more common in different states. What's happening in your situation?
Yeah. So Ascend is being I mean, they've been absolute guardian angels to me. Um, not
That's
only not
excellent.
only are they helping me with what it takes to open a dispensary, but they've given me a human resources team. They've given me a team of attorneys. They are giving me training on what it takes to be a CEO, COO. I mean, they are doing things that is amazing. I mean, they literally are. They're not just talking social equity. They're not just talking social justice. They're actually, you're looking at a person who just got off parole and they're putting me in that place and they're teaching me everything and they're holding my hand the entire way.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got goosebumps. This whole story is crazy.
I it's, and my family can't believe it. One of the things I want people to understand is that this is life changing, not just for me, but for my family also. I have a daughter who's now 21. See her father go to prison like so many other young black children, their father's going out the household, and me and her have a very tight relationship, as you saw. I mean, before when I was out before I got incarcerated, she would come. She had her own room at my house in Kansas. She would come out there, or every summer I had her for the entire summer.
Wow.
Um, she was spoiled. I mean, she just, you know, she's my only child. She's my baby girl, and so she got everything that she wanted. And so for me to be taken away, it really damaged our relationship.
Yeah.
And it also, like it puts a negative on the parent, especially as a father. And we all know the stereotype of black fathers not being in homes. So, it hurt her a lot. So for her to see me come home, and I'm not even sure if Ascend really knows the impact that they're putting on my family and my relationship. But for her to see me come home, become successful, even that night when we were there and she saw me accept the award, she said to me, she's like, "Dad, I'm so proud of you." And I almost broke down into tears because I know what she felt like, when I wasn't there, and I know what it looks like when I wasn't there. So for her to now turn around and witness me get awards and to open up my own dispensary and to be a prominent member, a business owner, it just not only does it give me hope, but it gives her hope and other people hope. And so that's
Yeah.
what I'm sorry I went off on that tangent.
No, no, but you're right. People have to know you've got to go deep and understand the ripple effect that this has. And now in reverse, how, like you said, ascend. I mean, you want to shout ascend out for doing this because
Absolutely.
because this is what others should be doing. And I've talked about like the franchise type model that would work in this industry and how there needs to be more of it to, if we all want to help people who were harmed by it or just give people a leg up. I think this is the model that we need to use. So, okay, so that's cool. So let's just dive in, as we're, kind of winding down. I want to get into your expertise about genetics and cultivating. And so first of all, what kind of product or flower how is New Jersey doing with cultivation now? Like when you're opening your dispensary and you're going to pick your products and your flower, how do you feel about that being a cultivator as well? And also with the CPG products, like is New Jersey there yet? Have they got it?
Yes. So I'll say this: New Jersey, in this industry, we have a lot of people. I call them pot snobs. You have a lot of people who say, "Oh, I don't smoke dispo bud," or it's all mids or whatever the case. And I think in a lot of cases, there is some bud which would be standard across dispensaries, but honestly, if you look at it on a bigger scale, when you're cultivating, it's very hard to have craft style cannabis, which is what a lot of people are looking for when you're cultivating mass producing at that point. When you have a room that has 2,500 plants in it, it's a lot different than when you have a room that has 500 plants in it, and you can take the time to look at each plant and really take care of it. But there are some cultivators out here in New Jersey who are putting out amazing product. I can't wait to put them on my shelves. There are,
Can you shout them out? Can you shout?
absolutely. I think Garden Greens is doing amazing work. We have Prolific Grow House, which is doing amazing work. Brighter Side Farms, which is one of my favorites. Brighter Side Farms is amazing. I
Is it
love.
is it brighter side?
Yes, yeah.
Brighter side farms. Okay.
Brighter Side Farms is doing amazing work, and so you have these cultivators out there who are putting out great product, and then you have your standard product. Um, which is great. I mean, you have places like Air Wellness, Ascend Wellness. Ascend has so many different offshoots and brands, just like my own. And I will also be bringing my genetics into Ascend. I have genetics from out different places like the West Coast and Hawaii and stuff like that. Which
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
and it's gonna bring a different taste and a different flavor profile, a different terpene profile to the New Jersey, and also too it's the style of growing too. But I mean, I could nerd out all day on the style of growing. I mean, obviously, you have to deal with environment and humidity and different things that are going to cause molds and mildews. I know people complain about the molds and mildews. They don't
yeah.
want people, I don't want my bud radiated, and of course, I mean, I don't want my bud radiated also, but at the end of the day, when you're mass producing different buds like that, sometimes you have to go through different things just because of the environment here in New Jersey. But with that being said, yes, there are amazing cultivators out here. Um, I mean, and I can't wait to the day when it's federally legal, so we can trade across New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts. I think that's when we will really get to see. Actually, you'll get a beautiful flavor profile, different strains, all throughout dispensaries. But yeah, it's really exciting what's happening here in New Jersey. I know in the beginning it was kind of like blah blah blah, but now I'm seeing different cultivators pop up all over the state, and I can't wait to work with them. I can't wait to have them in my store. Yeah,
Oh,
just
that's exciting.
areas, but the most exciting point in my life right now.
What does that mean that you're going to create some genetics for Ascend?
So I do have my own seeds that I'll be bringing in, but and then eventually, yes, once I have my own cultivation, I will be doing my own pheno hunting. And pheno hunting, just for people out there that don't know, would be looking for different types of plants to put together to create a strain. And this is something that takes years and years to do. So obviously, I'm going to be doing this. This will be down the line, but pretty much the pheno hunt would mean that just for instance, I'm just going to throw out just two random strains. Say if I wanted to come up with my own new strain, and I'm going to take Glitter Bomb and say uh Western Mass Super Skunk number three. I'm gonna take the seeds from those, I'm gonna put them together. Once I get the plants from them, I'm gonna look at all of the plants and I'm gonna look at what traits I want from those plants. So you're gonna have all the just like human beings when we have babies, our babies are gonna be different, right? So with the plants, the phenols are gonna be different. And I'm gonna look at which ones have the traits that I'm looking for. I'm gonna take those, I'm gonna take those back. I'm gonna get some more off of those until I get stable genetics. Because you can get them, you can get all your plants together. I mean, you can hunt them down. You can get some nice clones and everything like that, and then the genetics won't keep up. They won't keep up generation after generation. So you have to make sure you stabilize your genetics beforehand before actually saying, okay, look, I have a new strain now. So this is something that I'll be doing in the future. We're learning new stuff all the time. There's stuff that's coming up that I'm learning now that we didn't even do when I grew. I was in California for about 4 years growing with the same grower. They were old school growers, like they learned from their fathers and stuff like that. So there's stuff that I'm learning now. Like I didn't know anything about a terpene profile before. And,
Right, of course. We didn't
and
know.
no, I didn't know what a flavonoid was. I didn't know what a terpene was. I knew that I liked certain taste, but and now I could correlate those tastes with the terpene. I'd be like, dang, I like the way that tastes, and it made me feel like this. Because I'm a person, I don't really like sativas too much. Well, heavy sativas. I like a sativa hybrid, but sativas will give me anxiety. I get antsy from sativas, so I need the indica in there to kind of, it levels it out. So, and then also too, I learned that it's not just indica and sativa; it's the terpenes that also give you the effect that you're looking for. So, and then now you have people who they're terpene farmers. They only farm for terpene. But I'm a person who believes, because I learned with sun grown. I did outdoor in California, and then I've seen some sun grown stuff when I was in Maui for a while. Um, I'm somebody who, and I'm not against indoor at all. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. I just prefer outdoor. I think that I think that outdoor has a full spectrum feeling that you don't get from indoor all the time. I think that indoor is great for different things because with indoor you have so much more control that you can really control. You can say I want higher linalool or beta caryophyllene versus caryophyllene or whatever the case. But I think that when you're dealing with outdoor, which is what I love, you get a full spectrum, and I think that it's because you can't mimic what God did, and that's just
Mhm.
impressive. I think that
Mhm.
nature does it best. Um, I think that the bud structure and everything is better, but again, that's my
I
opinion.
know it's a debate. It's a debate.
It is, and but I also love indoor. There's certain indoor strains and plants that I've smoked, and I'm like, this is absolutely delicious. It's a pleasure to, So uh, I think I actually give my kudos to all types of different farmers, and I learn from all different farmers. I think that I think that you can learn from anyone, and I think you can learn from any situation. And so I'm a constant student when it
Yeah.
comes a constant student. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. So, and then how about manufacturing? Is that something you want to do down the road? Like, what's your preference there? I mean, is it hash rosin, bubble hat, whatever?
So I've actually just recently gotten into the concentrates. I'm a little older. I'm 46 years old. So I started on just flour, but the concentrates are so amazing. I've learned about the hash rosins. I've learned about the live rosins. I'm not really a big fan of distillates like that. The distillate concentrates is
Yeah.
it's not really my thing. But yeah, the hash rosins and the live rosins to me are amazing. The stuff that they're doing, the flavors that they're giving, the profiles that they're giving. I think that these guys are scientists that are doing this. I would love to learn more about the process of that. I don't really know too much about that, but I've definitely just gotten into the concentrates. I just actually got my hands on it was a lilac diesel hash rosin, and it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's
Yeah, I mean, especially for someone like you who really appreciates all the different, flavors and experience, I mean, because because it does bring out the flavor in like solventless, you know, concentrates. You can really get that flavor and taste in there. I think it's in,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that that's a whole nother science and genre. I really, really give kudos to everyone who's doing that because I'm really, really learning a lot of different things on that. It's really, really amazing. I think the product out is so important too. I think that they're giving not everyone smoke a joint. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
Yeah.
that's time.
Yeah.
It's very, very it can be it could smell, so I think that
Yeah. You get the flavor from it for sure.
yeah, it's so great. It's so great. I really, but yeah, in the future, I would love to get more involved with the manufacturing. I would like to get more involved with concentrates. And again, like I said, I'm a constant student in this. I'm not one of those people that says I know everything about everything. No, that's not me. I'm always learning. I'm always listening. I'm always reading new stuff too. Uh,
I guess, like you said, you got to just take what's in front of you right now and get that down.
yeah,
And it seems like you have some really fun things ahead to work on, and you're in a great position. So I really wish you a lot of luck. And I'm coming to your store.
I
Because I
hope
travel, I absolutely will. I travel through New Jersey a lot. I go to Philadelphia, so I'm definitely stopping by. Um, and so again, as we wrap up, when is this, you're projecting February for the store to open?
yes, I'm looking around February.
Okay.
Definitely keep everyone posted. And if anybody wants to follow my page, is EC Dank. There's an EC Dank page, and then there's also East Coastin Dank, which is me and all of my social justice work. And you'll see me up there. Make sure you put the East Coast in. I it's COASTIN East Coastin Dank. So yeah, you'll see me up there. And come on my page and definitely really support the social justice work that I'm doing. I think that that's one of the most important things. Any cultivators out there, I'm always looking to learn new things. Like I said, I'm a student, and anybody who wants to get involved with Last Prisoner Project, you can always contact me with Ascend Wellness. They also do a lot of stuff, so you can contact me. I just wanted to give a few shout outs to a few people. I like to give a shout out to where hold on, let me grab this thing here.
Yes.
A shout out to Trends. Thank you again for the award with Last Prisoner Project. I want to say thank you to Trends. I want to say thank you to Ascend Wellness Holdings for everything that you're doing. I want to say thank you to Last Prisoner Project, Dante Westmoreland. I want to say thank you to Shirali Patel of Blaze Responsibly. I want to say thank you to you and everyone out there that supports us and people who've done time. I want to tell you to keep your head up, and I support you. I'm fighting for you. Anybody's family is incarcerated, you can always contact me. I've helped countless people to do all types of different things, and I also do job placement. That's another thing I do. I help people to find jobs who don't care if you're a felon or not. So please contact me about that. And that's pretty much that's me.